The NBA gets a handful of general managers, sits them down, asks them some questions. It's a really good litmus test to figure out where higher ups in the league kind of stand on some of the players. It's also a really good litmus test to figure out how people kind of feel about what some of these players are going to do and what they're going to look like in the upcoming season. Out the gate, predictions of who's going to win a championship. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder at 80%. Cleveland is tied with Denver at 7%, which semi-makes sense. I agree. I think OKC is at 80%. I think the only reason why they're not higher is because some people may be slightly high on the Nuggets, but not that crazy at all. Eastern Conference predictions: Cleveland, New York, Orlando, Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philly, and Boston. I'm not mad at this either, to be honest with you. Philly will be like the biggest question mark just because we're already going into the season. On the other side, we have OKC, Denver, Houston, Minnesota, Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Dallas, San Antonio. Y'all are going to see this with me in real time. This is what I did because I was trying to figure out like similar things about how it's going to go. My Western Conference predictions: 65 wins for OKC, then Houston at 57, Denver at 55, Golden State at 52, Minnesota, Clippers, Lakers, San Antonio, Dallas. OKC, Denver, Houston is the top three. 4, they got Minnesota. 5, Golden State. I have Minnesota and Golden State very similar as well. Clippers, Lakers next up. Clippers, Lakers next up as well. And then Dallas, San Antonio. I got San Antonio, Dallas, but I have them win the same amount of games. I could! Me and the Geno's on the same page. Now, Eastern Conference: Cleveland, New York, Orlando. Cleveland, New York, Orlando. Okay. They got Atlanta and Detroit next. I got Detroit and Atlanta, but very similar wins. I think these are all going to be close. And then I have Milwaukee, Boston. I have Indy still being able to make it. I don't have Philly this high. I got Philly only winning 33 games. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't know what that team going to look like. But yeah, these are the wins that I had right here. These are all my wins. Is there anything potentially that's off about this? Toronto will be like 7, Portland too low. Be very mindful if you're saying that a team is going to win more games, you have to take away wins from something else. I got Washington with 15 wins. Hey, I told y'all, if Washington wins more than 25 games, butt naked with baby oil on this stream, I promise you that, right? Y'all think Sacramento is too high? Wow. You know what's so crazy? Wemby can go crazy and they can still, I think 44, 45 games is still very, very good. Golden State too high? I think 52 is also solid for Golden State. I think the Warriors would be fine, actually. Memphis too low? Yeah, you must not know. Memphis is about to be without Triple J, without Brandon Clark. Zach Edey's going to be out as well. They're going to be out for like 3 rotational players in the beginning part of the season. Oh, Ja's hurt too? Ja's hurt. Yeah, no. I'm actually fine with them being a 500 ball club. I think that's actually fair. If anything, they could go lower. Somebody saying they're being higher is crazy. Who will win the MVP this upcoming season? They got Jokic at 67%, then Luka, then Shea, and then Wemby at 4. I hear a lot of people talking about this idea that Anthony Edwards is going to take a leap this year, so much so that he's going to be in MVP convos. Ant just isn't good enough. I don't know why y'all be throwing these people names in these conversations that they just don't belong in. On top of that, like, he's not going to win enough games. And so if he's not going to win enough games, then you would have to also justify putting him ahead of Giannis, which I can't see that happening. I'm not too mad at Jokic winning because I do think they're going to win a lot of games, but I do believe if the Lakers win 50 plus games with LeBron missing for the first 25 games of the season, I could easily see Luka winning the MVP this year. I could see that pretty easily. If you were starting a franchise today, you could sign up any player in the NBA, who would it be? Wemby is the obvious answer. Shea is just winning bias. It's Wemby. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Jokic with 57%. Last year was Luka with 33, but Jokic winning it convincingly. I think that's the highest I've seen since like Pete Curry or maybe a few years ago Curry. Which players most likely to have a breakout year? A lot of people are high on Amen Thompson. I'm going to say this about Amen. Based off of what I've seen in preseason action, he is going to have a lot of responsibility as a ball handler and distributor. We'll see how that goes. It can go one way or another. I could genuinely see Amen having a really great season just with the amount of responsibility that's going to be put on his shoulder. Shout out to Franz, though, at 5th. Brandon Miller, Asar, and then Vic. Speaking of Vic, bro, did y'all see that highlight of Victor Oladipo throwing that shit down? I was like, bro, how is he moving like that? After all them injuries, bro, that was crazy. I was actually floored how crazy he was moving. I was like, bro, that's actually insane. Who's the best point guard in the league? Shea, definitively. Who's the best shooting guard in the league? Anthony Edwards definitively. Who's the best small forward in the league? Luka Doncic, pretty definitively. Who's the best power forward? Giannis. Who's the best center? Jokic. I think they did this on purpose because Luka he's not a small forward. He's a point guard. But I think they just did that for the sake of trying to give some representation of all these players. And I do think that it just so happens that all these players will be top 5 in the league this year. Offseason moves. Which team made the best overall moves in the offseason? Atlanta with 53. Okay. Adding Nikhil, adding KP. I think Atlanta overall had a really good offseason. It's hard, however. It's really hard to say that it's better than adding KD to your roster. So the first round pickup, you are right with that. When they traded Derek Queen to New Orleans, picked up a draft pick on top of that. So that's also pretty good. Either Atlanta or Houston, I'm down for that. Which one player acquisition will make the biggest impact? Of course, KD. That makes a lot of sense. Shout out to Desmond Bane, though. Desmond Bane to Orlando is going to be huge. Which is the most underrated player acquisition? Desmond Bane, that's great. Cam Johnson is not that much of an underrated acquisition. None of these are underrated acquisitions. Lonzo is a bit underrated because if he's healthy, might be some good hoops out there in Cleveland. Which team will most improve? I'm going to go on a limb and say this. I think Orlando hasn't made such steep improvements, especially with the Desmond Bane addition. There is a possibility they can make it out of the Eastern Conference. I'm not sold on Cleveland. I think they still have a lot of flaws that they had last year. I'm not mad at the fact that they brought back what they had, but unless they make some type of change and a little bit more offensive firepower on the perimeter or see a little bit more improvement with the dynamic between Jared Allen and Evan Mobley offensively, I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's a real good, strong possibility that they can make it all the way to the finals. And also, stay healthy. Staying healthy is also going to help them out as well. What was the most surprising move? Yeah, Milwaukee stretching Damian Lillard, bring in Miles Turner. That goes hand in hand. So, that makes sense. Rookie and international players. Cooper Flagg, Rookie of the Year. Which would be the best player in 5 years? Cooper Flagg. Also makes sense. Okay. Which rookie was the biggest steal? Shout out to... Who is that? I have no idea who this is. To my Miami fans, y'all gotta let me know. I don't know who this is. I have no idea. Who's the best international player? Luka, 93%. That's fine. Who's the best international player not in the NBA? Sasha, I don't know. I'm going to take their word for it. Defense, who's the best defender in the league? Wemby by a pretty serviceable margin. Interesting. Who's the best perimeter defender? There's some good names up there. I can't hold you. I ain't gonna lie. Defense is back in the league. Anybody who keeps sitting there telling you that there's no defense being played in today's league, they are straight up lying to you. This is like 6 names deep of like genuinely good, not even like great defenders. Dyson, Caruso, both Thompson twins, Dort and Jrue Holiday. Bro, that's some good hoops right there. No Herb Jones even on this list either. Some good fucking hoops, man. It said perimeter defender. Jesus. Best interior defender, Wemby and then Rudy Gobert. AD got some votes as well, but it is what it is. Who was the most versatile defender? Amen, Draymond, Giannis, Dyson, Evan Mobley, Vic, OG, Lou Dort. It's a lot of great defenders in today's league, man. Who's the best defensive team? OKC, I agree. Best head coach, Eric Spoelstra, I also agree. Ime should get some love on this, though, so the fact that he didn't receive any votes. Nick Nurse received a vote over Ime? Yeah, let's be serious. Which head coach is the best manager / motivator of people? Doc Rivers should be on here because that's literally the only thing that he does, but shout out to Eric Spoelstra. Which head coach makes the best in-game adjustment? Shout out to Ty Lue. Which head coach runs the best offense? Rick Carlisle, Kenny Atkinson, Chris Finch. I disagree with Chris Finch. Wow. Mark Daigneault, Steve Kerr. Which head coach has the best defensive schemes? I actually disagree with Mark Daigneault. I think Ime has the better defensive schemes. Mark has the best defensive personnel, but I actually think it's either Ime or Spoelstra who runs the best defensive schemes. Who is the best assistant coach in the NBA? Micah Nori? I feel like I've heard his name before, though. Jeff Van Gundy out with the Clippers? Yeah, okay. Which active player would make the best head coach? Chris Paul, number 1. Mike Conley down there as well. Miscellaneous. Which team is the most fun to watch? Denver, then OKC tied. The funnest team to watch was Indiana when they were running up and down the floor. Houston is also a really fun team if you like favorite defense. Obviously, I'm a Laker fan, I think, but also like Zion with Jordan Poole this upcoming year is going to be mad fun. I'm going to be honest with y'all. That shit gonna be fun as hell. I don't know. Denver, you know what? Choosing Denver and OKC, you trying to be serious for no reason. Like, we talking about who's the funnest to watch. niggas gonna be like, what I like fun is baseline passes and zone defense and in-depth like defensive concepts. Like, that's what they think is fun. Like, nigga, let's be serious, bro. You don't have more fun watching Jokic passes over like Zion dunks. Like, be fucking serious. Which team has the best home court advantage? A tie between Denver and OKC. Which team will have the league's most efficient offense this season? Cleveland? I don't know about Cleveland. I don't know, but they're going to miss. It might not be the same, man. Because last year the shooting variance was fucking through the roof. To be fair, though, I also think it's going to be amongst these three teams. So we'll see. Which team's level of success this season is tough to predict? Philly by a wide margin, and I agree. Injuries is going to really determine what's going to happen out there. Which team is the most promising young core? OKC, I guess. As long as they're not counting Shea as a young core. That nigga is like past his mid-20s, so I guess. Which player is the most athletic? Amin Thompson, number 1. Which is the best pure shooter? Curry, then Clay. What is the fastest with the ball? De'Aaron Fox, then Ja. Which player is the best at moving without the ball? Curry, obviously. Which player is the best passer? Jokic, easily. Which player is the best leader? Steph Curry. Who is the most versatile player? Giannis, then Wemby, tied for 30, then LeBron. This is my first time seeing LeBron's name on this entire list. Which player has the best basketball IQ? Jokic with 80, then LeBron at 17. Okay. Which player would you want taking the last shot in the game? Curry, then KD. I don't know how I guess because Tyrese is hurt, there's just no way after I saw what Tyrese did in the playoffs that I'm not picking this nigga. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. What rule regarding play, scheduling, draft, lottery, playoff format, et cetera, would you most change? Roster construction. Apron rules are too harsh. Add a cap discount for own draft players. Allow trading partial salaries. Make all minimum contracts the same. That's a very specific, but yeah, overall roster construction, draft schedule, game flow. But I think a lot of coaches are starting to feel that their talent really isn't there because of the rules. But I'm be honest with y'all, man. I think they got it right this year, man. A lot of things they got right this year. I gotta give them credit for it. I ain't got nothing really much to complain about. I actually think they got a lot of stuff right.